Respected Chairman, Technia Group of Institutions, Shri Ram Kailash Gupta, Director TIRES, Dr. Ajay Kumar, Co-convener for today's International Conference on Quality Enhancement and Employability in Higher Education, Dr. Sandeep Kumar and Dr. Leena Jennifer, Deputy Director TIRES, Dr. Rashmi Gujarati, Chief Guest of today's conference, coordinators of the conference, delegates from corporate and academic arena, my colleagues and students, a very good morning to all of you. It's an immense pleasure and proud privilege to be amongst the distinguished dignitaries.
Before moving ahead, Saraswati Mahabhage Vidya Kamalochane Vishwarupe Vilahakshi Vidyam Dehi Namostute. Ladies and gentlemen, Ma Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge and art. Now I request all the dignitaries on the stage to join in lamp lighting as a tribute to Ma Saraswati.
Let's begin with the felicitation ceremony. Now I request our chairman, Shri R.K. Gupta ji, to kindly felicitate to our honorable chief guest, Professor J.L. Gupta, former Vice Chancellor, GGU Central University, Bilaspur. Professor J.L. Gupta, former Vice Chancellor, GGU Central University from Bilaspur, chief guest of today's international conference. Thank you very much, sir. Moving ahead, may I now request Dr. Neerav Verma, HOD BBA Department, to kindly honor and present a bouquet to Mr. Kursat Kapraz, Sakarya University, Turkey. Thank you very much, sir. Now I would request Dr. Arun Bhatia, HOD MBA, to kindly felicitate Mr. Praval Upadhyay, Managing Director, BCI Global Private Limited, Delhi.
Moving ahead, I would request Dr. Vandana Raghav, Senior Faculty, Management Department, TIRES, to kindly felicitate Srimati Deepa Verma, Director, Central Forensic Laboratory, Government of NCT, Delhi. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would request Dr. Leena Jennifer to kindly felicitate Dr. Urvashi Sharma, Associate Professor, Delhi University.
Moving ahead, now I request Dr. Namita Mishra, HOD BBA, to kindly felicitate Ms. Parul Gupta, Deputy Director, Bureau Indian Standards, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Please. Finally, I would request Dr. Ajay Pratap Singh, Head IQAC, to kindly come on the stage and felicitate our Director, Sir, Dr. Ajay Kumar. Please.
Now I would request Dr. Sandeep Kumar, co-convener for today's conference, to kindly felicitate Professor Rajesh Bajaj, Senior Faculty, MBA from TIRES.
Thank you so much. Moving ahead for the further proceeding of the conference, I request our Director, Sir, Dr. Ajay Kumar, Doctorate in Management with 25 years experience in teaching, research and industry. He is instrumental in conceptualization and convened more than 10 international and 30 national conferences on various contemporary issues of management. Author of books on business policy, service marketing and international business management, he is an active member of IMA and other professional bodies. Sir, you have been a great motivator and has achiever of set goals. I request you to kindly deliver the opening address. Please, sir.
Good morning. I take this opportunity to extend our special welcome to our star-studded panel on the occasion of 13th International Conference on Quality Enhancements and Employability in Higher Education, a holistic approach. At the onset, I welcome our chief guest of the 13th International Conference, Professor Dr. J.L. Gupta, Professor, Management Development Institution, Gurgaon. Sir has been formerly Vice Chancellor of GGU Bilaspur from 2004 to 2008 and Principal of Shri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University from 1996 to 2004. Prior to this, he has been a professor at the National Institute of Bank Management, Pune, and the University of Science, Malaysia, Penang, Dar es Salaam University, Tanzania, and University of Allahabad. Sir is having a vast experience in the area of organization, design, and structure and training and HRD systems to a number of public and private sector organizations in India. I welcome you, sir, to grace this occasion, accepting our request to spare your valuable time to be the chief guest of our 13th edition of International Conferences, Technique Institute of Advanced Studies. I also welcome Dr. R.K. Gupta, Chairman of Technique Group of Institutions, a man of many facets in immense energy and having a never-ending potential for his constant source of inspiration and endeavor. Because of this, his backing, we've been able to organize this 13th edition of International Conference, sir. We thank you for your all support to us as an institution and as students over there, sir. Thank you, sir. I welcome Mr. Dr. Kursat Kaparev, Professor from Sakarya University, Turkey, and Director of InTraders Academic Platform. Sir is the Chief Convener and Chief Editor and Publisher of various InTrader journals books. Sir, we welcome you, your first visit in India, and hope that he will take good memories over here. And we thank to you to grace the occasion. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Praval Upadhyay, Managing Director, Director BCI Global Private Limited. He is having more than 2 decades of experience in business management in FMCG domain, specializing in the route to market supply chain management, brand management, and new product development. He has handled various responsibilities like Managing Director of Nigeria Operations, realigning international organizational reporting and communications to improve production, energy, and Managing Director of Ghana Operations for Vattenmal Pearl Group. We welcome you, sir, to giving you the insight for how your experience in Nigeria will help our students for enhancing the employability in higher education sector in India, sir. I welcome Ms. Deepa Verma, Director General, Central Forensic Laboratory, Government of NCT, Delhi. Madam, we thank to you for gracing the occasion. Madam is nearby our Forensic Science Laboratory, and she is doing immense work as far as various crime-related forensics investigations are concerned. So, madam, there is some investigations for the side of business avenues also, business, crime also. So, we will be looking forward for his input as far as how we can be able to transform and how we can be able to stop the crime scene with madam's help on this particular occasion. I welcome Ms. Parul Gupta, Deputy Director, Director of Bureau of Indian Standards, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Government of India. Parul Gupta is from Bureau of Indian Standards. She will be gracing the occasion. Madam, we welcome you over here. And what would be standards which has been there for education system? We have got many standards in India. We've been following NAC, we've been following NBA, we've been following various government JAC systems and ISO systems. There are certain established platform which Madam has been discussing in the morning, that Bureau of Indian Standards has also having some kind of standards for the higher education system. We will like to see, ma'am, those things over here from your presence. I welcome Urvashi, my colleague. She was there in 2005 in Technion Institute of Advanced Studies. We both are joining of Technion Institute. She's joined the Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi. It's a homecoming for you, ma'am. And professor from the Commerce and Economics. She's been, most time I've seen you on the Facebook with all the uploadings of various conferences and convening various conferences. So we request you to grace the occasion. You can learn many more things from her as far as commerce and economics is concerned. And we request, ma'am, you also invite our students over there for various platforms which you organize in Delhi University, so that they can be able to exchange views with your Delhi University School of Economics. Thank you, ma'am. We welcome you on the dais. Last but not the least, I requested Professor Bajaj. Again, as far as Technion is concerned, he is a Bhishma Pitama as far as the faculty fraternity is concerned. He is always there to guide with immense potential. He used to be a factor for making all SOPs, standard operating procedure. He's operational management person. So those students who are looking for AI, artificial intelligence, can take use of the mental forte which he is having to size up the problem and can be able to give rich dividends for the development part. I will be also welcoming the Professor Anand Sharma. I would request him to be on the stage, please. He is from Central University, Haryana. Please, sir, on the dais, please. He will be chairing the technical session in the first technical session. He's my student, and I feel that he's a professor of Central University, Haryana. So I'm blessed to have a student like him. Mr. Anup Girdhar, he will be joining. Then lot many people are there from the reporters, delegates from Maharaja Surajmal Institute, University of Delhi, Central Forensic Science Laboratory, Amity University, Jamia Hamdard, Archin Technology, AVIR Engineering Tech College, Hyderabad, IRU Entrepreneur, St. Mary College, Tuticorin, Tamil Nadu. I would like to see that, ma'am, please, from the delegate from Tuticorin. She came all the way down from south by air and to be witnessing this. Madam, we welcome you on this conference, please. Then IMS Noida, Deshbandhu Chotu Ram University, Science and Technology, Murthal, alumni of current students of MBA, BBA, and BJMC who have been sending the papers over here. I welcome you all on the occasion of 13th Technia International Conference. Sir, the Technia Institute of Advanced Studies has made its humble beginning 2 decades ago. Organizing many made its humble beginning. Today, our students and scholars spread across globe as an IAS, IPS, MNCs, technocrats, media persons, and their contributions makes a difference everywhere. Technion Institute of Advanced Studies is one of the premier institutions with accredited A grade institute, duly approved by AICTE, Ministry of HRD, Government of India, and affiliated to IP University, recognized under Section 2F of UGC Establishment Act. Technion Institute of Advanced Studies also 9001-2015 and ISO 14001-2015 certificate compliance as far as quality management systems and environment management systems for its well-established procedures for imparting quality education in the field of management, computer applications, and journalism and mass communication. The institutes impart value-based quality education, training, and research consultancy in the field of all these areas. Institute every year organizes 1 international conference and 1 national conference. Apart from there, sir, it makes an academic and cultural fest, sports activities, soft skills training programs, specialized technical skills programs, expert lectures, workshops, and placement activities for the students. Sir, today's topic of the conference, Quality Enhancement and Employability in Higher Education, is based on the higher education in India. It's a dynamic and it's continuously evolving sector that keeps updating, adapting itself in recent changes. Quality is the backbone of any education system. There are only few Indian higher education institutions of the global education map which have earned a reputation for the high quality education services as per international quality parameters. there is need for all stakeholders of higher education to come together to ensure quality education, skill development, and enhance employability opportunity for the aspiring young generations of students. The Government of India has undertaken several policy measures to infuse quality in the overall education system. The graded autonomy of universities confers them freedom to hire international faculty, enroll foreign students, enter into academic collaborations, and run regular distance and online learning programs. Numerous commissions, National Institute of Rural Framework, NIRF, then National Assessment of Accreditation Council, NAC, and National Board of Accreditation, NBA, have designed ranking and rating methods for accreditation programs as well as institutions and universities for enhancing global quality standards in education. The compliance with specific norms is mandatory for all the autonomous universities, deemed universities, and other institutions for the quality substance. The culture of research and innovation is being cultivated by various statutory bodies through provisions made for the research grant project and boosting the consultancy. Introduction of Smart India, Hackathon, and the Innovation Cell by AICT are few steps in this direction. A specific national policy on skill development launched by the Government of India also aims at honing the paradigmatic knowledge and skills of the students to grab better employability opportunities in the today's competitive corporate world. Quality enhancement in higher education institutions is an unending journey towards excellence. However, it may be pertinent to understand various hurdles faced by the institutions, short-term approvals and grants to the institutions by numerous regulatory bodies like AICT, UGC, and state governments, and this process, even the well-established institutions end up with unnecessary loss of productive hours due to extensive documentation, non-revision of the fee structure in tune with the inflationary factors, and the competitive educational policy requirements are the major deterrent for the future planning and the progress of the institutions. However, the perception of an educational institution should be a non-profit making organization does not result in internal generation of funds by the institution for its continuous development, improvement, and upgradation. As a result, the institutions are susceptible to various problems like shortage of quality faculty, inadequate infrastructure, insignificant research work, limited corporate and academic exposures, and linkages, etc. All this creates a mismatch between industry expectations and the quality of graduating students. Addressing these issues can only be made possible when there is a change in perception of all ranked stakeholders and the regulatory authorities functions more as facilitator rather than be a mere regulator, allowing the institutions to progress freely and gracefully. The objectives of the conference is to appraise the present education system in India and to understand the challenges faced by the higher education, then to analyze the role of various regulatory bodies for the propagation of the higher education, to dissemination of the best practices of higher education institution prevalent in India, and to explore strategies for achieving educational excellence in higher education system. The deliberation of this international conference is compiled in the form of proceedings for circulation and for the future reference for all researchers and students. I hope that the international conference will be able to achieve its objective and the participants will be learning new contemporary issues on the topic. I wish to give my best wishes to all the participants, all the delegates who are part of this international conference. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your thought-provoking address that has set a perfect platform for our speakers to deliver their presentations. Now it's time to relish the hard work and efforts. It's time to release the proceeding for today's 13th International Conference. I may request all the dignitaries to unveil the 13th International Conference proceeding on quality enhancement and employability in higher education, a holistic approach. Let's put our hands together for the hard work and efforts made by the research scholars. Thank you very much.
Moving ahead, I would request Dr. Rajesh Bajaj, Senior Faculty TIES, to give away the keynote address for this conference, please.
Right at the outset, I must admit I am not an academician. My roots are in industry. So I am more concerned about the demand side of the gamut of the things rather than the supply of the material coming out of the educational institutions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, huge amount of the resources are being expended in providing the education to the students in the country. And on the part of the students also, their money, their part is going into getting the graduation degrees or the maybe post-graduation degrees or the all through their career. But then what happens is that after graduation or after post-graduation, when they go to the market, in case the jobs are not available as per their liking, this is a big setback for them. So the basic question is, there is something definitely wrong into the planning which is going in for the education planning in the country. Now, the things are getting further aggravated with the technological disruptions which are coming in. You take the case of the automation, you take the case of the artificial intelligence. The result is that most of the mid-level jobs are getting eliminated. You take the case of the banks. Because of the automation and the maybe artificial intelligence, the mid-level jobs are by and large eradicated because the technology has taken over. Though the turnover of the banks is increasing phenomenally, but the jobs are decreasing. Similarly, you take the case of the transportation industry, you take the case of the supply chain management, the new areas which are offering more and more jobs. But in those areas, most of the jobs are available in the low level. Now, in case you view the total market, almost 85% of the jobs are available which don't require the graduates or the postgraduates or the doctors. Maybe the very low level and the first level of the skills are required for those jobs. You take the case of farming, you take the case of transportation, you take the case of the supply chain management. All these areas which are the major consumers of the human resources, the requirement is not for the highly educated people. Now at the same time, in case we take the spectrum of the jobs which are getting added to the system every year, you will find only 20% of the jobs which are fitting the requirement of the graduates, postgraduates, and the other higher education people. Rest of the 80% jobs are still not suitable for the people who are graduating from the colleges. And these people, in case they are going to get just about the 15 to 20,000 rupees per month, is going to be a big dissatisfier for you all. All those students who are sitting here, in the business terms, which basically we talk cost to company, CTC we talk about, but as far as you are concerned, at the moment you are cost to the parents. And I am sure you will agree with me that you are costing your parents at the moment anything between 40 to 50,000 rupees in a month. And in case you get an offer for a job from 15 to 20,000 rupees, it definitely is a big demotivation for you. And in case you have no other alternative, you hook up on that job only, obviously your motivation will be low, your productivity will be low, and the discontentment will be setting in. And what exactly needs to be done on this is really food for thought. Now let's talk about the higher education. Higher education in the country, every year something of the tune of 25 to 30 million people are registering, the students are registering for the graduation, post-graduation, and the further higher degrees. But irony of the thing is, just about 100,000 people are engaged into the research work. 100,000 against the 25 to 30,000 people who are registering every year. And when I am saying 100,000, that is the total figure, the people who are engaged in the research work. So in the bargain, what happens? Today, the research work, the metrics have altogether changed. It's not only that just carrying a tag of the doctor onto your palate is sufficient. The indication is that how many patents are generated by these guys who are engaged in the doctorate or the research work. What are the economic benefits are being created for the organization they are working for or for the nation? Now, you take the case of India. Approximately every year, only about 6,000 patent applications are filed in the country, and against the population of 1.3 billion. Against that, in case you take the case of China, their filings roughly 3.5 lakh applications every year. They are just 1.4 billion against 1.3 billion us. But there, see the difference. Take a small country like Germany, they are filing 1.6 lakh applications every day. Japan also is a small country, but they are filing maximum number of the patent applications, 4.6 lakhs. Americans are filing 4 lakh applications every year. This is not just the figures, because these patents, this is the technology in any field you talk about, whether the social sciences, physical sciences, technology, anywhere. Because this is what is bringing the money to those countries. Technology transfer is a big business these days, and this is what all the competition in the global competition is resting onto the technology now. But the problem is that the research scholars who are engaged in the country, in case their productivity, their output is not commensurate with the number of patents which are being filed, obviously that means that the quality of the output from them is very, very dismal. So this really needs to be given a serious thought about the whole thing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with this information having shared with you guys, our government, whether the Niti Aayog or the other institutions, they have to do a very, very serious relook whether the education system, what we are following against the demands in the market, is it a real fit into that or not? More and more agencies, they have to establish research agencies who have to find out what are the current demands in the market. Accordingly, our education systems also have to be changed. And time lags are killing our systems. Now, what do I feel about it? It may sound very, very radical to you all, or some of them may not agree, or majority of you will not agree with me, especially the senior education people with me, they will not agree with my line of thinking. My thinking is that why are we producing so many graduates, postgraduates, and the doctors in case there is no demand in the market? In case 25 to 30 million people have to register, and in case there is no demand, why are we producing the graduates, postgraduates? My thinking says that like in many of the countries, they follow this system. You go to Russia, you go to America, the education up to the school level, that the first class education is provided up to the 10th standard. Next 2 years, you provide the professional education to the students. Professional education, you call an electrician, you call a plumber, you call the AC repairer. The professional education, in case 2 years that the real in-depth training is given to, after the 12 years of training, in case an individual is at the age of 18 is able to earn the money, that is more satisfying as compared to completing his graduation, post-graduation, and still getting the job of 15,000, 20,000 rupees. Individual is not gaining, nation is not gaining. And of course, a very good concept of the community colleges was started, but that particular policy was aimed at that. But the problem is in our country that maybe the socialism, that is what our systems, in case a new thing is brought in, Our educationists, our bureaucrats, they go around the world to shop for the new ideas. I was talking about the community colleges. Basic objective was that to make the professionals after the school coming out of children, in case they are given the training and they can start earning. This is in line with what I am also talking at the moment. And when it comes to the higher education, I think there's a need to create a chicken egg there. You have to restrict the entry of the student, only the deserving candidates with the highly structured competition, then only they should get the entry into the graduate, post-graduation or the doctoral education. There's no point, unnecessarily making the options available to everybody and then they are not productive to the system or the nation. Or is it dissatisfied for them also? I'm sorry in case I've antagonized some of the people who are engaged into the academics, but this is my line of thinking, this is my personal thinking. And in case some of you are convinced in my thinking, thank you very much. This should be a fodder to tickle your neurons. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for that.
Thank you very much, sir. And I'm sure most of us over here would be agreeing with Professor Bajaj. Now I would like to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Kursit Kapraz, Faculty of Political Sciences from Sakarya University, Turkey. He is the chief convener of InTraders International Market Research and Journal. His area of specialization are international trade and international market research and has many national and international research papers onto his credit. Can we have Dr. Kursit Kapraz? Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank the chairman of the group Technical University, dear Dr. Ram Kailash Gupta, and what we do other special thanks to Dr. Who invited me with Professor Dr. Rashmi. I'm from Turkey. I'm managing also events and publishing books and academic journal, working for University Sakarya in Turkey. I would like to say, I would like to share something with you about social entrepreneurship and how it affects the students, teaching models, how it may take place in your hearts, it may take place in your brains and in career. Entrepreneurship is, as your group chairman, dear Dr. Ram Kailash Gupta, self-confidence. Self-confidence is the starting point of everything. If you have don't any self-confidence, please don't leave. Because every door waits with self-confidence. If you are here with your self-confidence, you prepared your exams, you work for exams, and now you are here. If the professors are here, if the chairman is here, by the self-confidence, by the entrepreneurship of his heart, her hearts. So what we may take from as an experience, with great experience, what we may learn, those people, the best starting point is self-experience and making a goal in your education career. For higher education career, first goal with self-confidence. So what we are doing, I'm sorry, but we are not reading, we are not writing. So totally, we are getting ready everything. So the new global education system giving everything ready. The information in search motors, in homeworks, we are taking ready copy paste. So we are not adding to our lives, we are not adding to our self-confidences, and we are not producing. As a social entrepreneurship, our with Ma'am Professor Dr. Rashmi Gujarati. She is our regulatory board member and in journal also. What we are doing, we are, as a social entrepreneurship, we are supporting the researchers by publishing their studies without charges. So this is our social entrepreneurship, and I'm inviting all the students to produce, to read, to write. Thank you very much for your listening.
Moving ahead, now would like to invite Mr. Praval Upadhyay. He has 20 years of intensive business management experience in FMCG domain and has successfully launched different brands in different countries and managed them to leadership positions. And currently, he is Managing Director, BCI Global Private Limited, New Delhi. Sir, I request you to kindly come on the dais and say a few words, please.
Dr. Mrs. Rashmi Gujarati, Chairman, sir, for inviting me here. This is a special moment for me, sharing the experience of last 22 years with my dear students here. So, esteemed member of the education fraternity, guests, and my dear students, in this forum you will hear many things. There will be thoughts about how the education works, how the employment works, how the structures work, how the organizations work. What I only say and want to impart in my last 22 years working across organizations, across cultures, across continents, the only thing that I would like to leave with you guys is look at the positive side of the picture. ये चिंता मत करिए कि खराब क्या हो रहा है, खराब तो बहुत कुछ हो रहा है. Look at what is going on right and then work on those things which is going right around you. Because by fretting around on the things which are not going right for you, nothing will be achieved. It is only by working on your strengths and looking at things which are going right around you, you will be able to make the change. Anyone who is able to make the change, solve a problem, is required in any team, in any corporate structure. And once you are required by multiple teams and multiple corporate structures, your visibility in the senior management team will increase. If your visibility in the senior management team will increase, we will get what we call a fast-track career. Others will keep on saying different things, negative things about you, but there are certain basic principles that you follow if you want to have a fast-track career. So what I am telling you guys here, or what I want to share here is, I don't want to talk about the quality of education and other things here. I would be focusing on the employability. The hard work that you guys have done here, how will it translate into your employability? So, my understanding is there will always be pressure in the corporate structure. There will be structural pressures, there will be resource pressures, there will be emotional pressures. So when you are into a corporate team, whatever level you are, there is always a hammer banging upon you. And you will, either you can just break or you can adapt to that hammering. So there are two principles. जिन्होंने physics पढ़ी होगी, they would be able to understand this. Malleability and ductility. If you behave like glass, you will break. And you will not be of use to yourself, and you will not be of use to the organization where you are working. But if you display this quality of malleability and ductility, malleability is you change your shape when you are hammered, ductility is you are stretched. Because all of us finally in a large organization act as wires. So if we have that ductility, we can be stretched. If we can be stretched, we will be able to take the organization from point 1 to point 2, pass this energy, and this organization works. And if this organization works, this wire gets recognized. If this wire gets recognized, it is again used, and that is how this wire becomes more and more important to the organization. Students, you know what is the most malleable and ductile element? It is gold. Fantastic. So your value will be in gold in the organization if you display these qualities of malleability and ductility. Before I leave, the practical part of it I want to share with you guys that what are the key attributes that you should display if you want to be part of any organization. So I have developed an acronym which I have shared with my teams across, and I've tried to keep it very simple so that it stays with you guys. So I call this word as being practical. Practical, which is Practical. First P is process orientation. Wherever you are, you have to understand what is the process which is happening here. Second is resource management. Look at what are the resources available to you. Everywhere there will be a resource constraint. So what best you can make out of that resource is what will make you acceptable. Adaptability. Then conflict handling. There will be conflict. You can't avoid it. It's a part of it. How you handle that conflict is very important. Then there has to be a team spirit. You can't be only thinking about yourself. If the team works, the leader works. Then there is integrity, which is very important. No one can keep looking at your shoulder. If you display that integrity, the organizations across globe recognize that. Then there is commitment. You give a time. Dabang 3 ki tarah se nahi, but if you give a time, you follow it up. Then attitude. The attitude has to be positive. Whatever may be happening wrong around you, you see the bright side out of it. Even your senior managers at times might be missing. Why? Because you are at the front end of it. You are seeing it from the closer to where it is actually happening. So your senior management will miss. But if you have that bright spot, if you can see, so the solutions will come from there. And last but not the least, leadership. Leadership is the crux of it. Leadership does not mean that you have to be a boss and you have to be given a team. You display leadership in various complicated situations which are happening around you. You can be a member of a team. If you solve a problem, you are a leader. And the more leadership situational capabilities that you will display across various domains, the more acceptable you will be. So I would again say, be practical. And you would know there are, just so that the theory connect is there, you would have read about theory X and theory Y. Theory X says that, no one wants to work and people are demotivated. Generally, you have to push them. And then there is theory Y, which says, no, people are inherently motivated, they like challenges and they would like to grow. So now, in practical, if you see, the last word is leader. And what is the leadership style? It depends upon theory X or theory Y, which means how you connect and how you see the people whom you are leading. If you think they don't want to work, then you have an authoritarian style. You are very closely monitoring everything, and you want to handhold everyone. Whereas in theory X, what you do is participative, collaborative, and you give them space, breathing space, so that they can do the work. So once you have put practical in this frame of theory X and theory Y, the only thing that I, from that personal experience, would like to share is whatever Ken Blanchard might be saying, whatever anyone is saying, both this is applicable depending upon what kind of team you are leading and what kind of geographies and environments that you are working into. So you have to be adaptable, which is also a part of the practical thing that I have shared with you. So these were some of the thoughts which I think if you can just sleep over it, think about it, and try to inculcate within you as you go towards your goal of a professional journey, it will certainly help you. Two things my director, 22 years back, I was sitting where you guys are sitting, and my director was standing here, and he told us that hard work never goes waste. So remember that, guys. This is the crux of everything. Put your hard work. You might not see the answers today, but that hard work, anything that you have learned, sometime, somewhere in life, this will come where that learned knowledge will be applicable. And as I have told, conflict handling is a very important part. So conflict handling will happen if you have the actual theoretical knowledge in place. So what you guys are doing right now, right here, is very, very important. Get your theory properly done, because from theory only the solutions will evolve. You just have to understand and bring in the connections for that. So this is a very important part of your journey. Don't neglect it. Listen to what the people who have been there, done that, kind of people who are saying from their experience. Try to bring those skill sets inside you and then deliver. I'm sure there is a very bright future ahead of it. Whatever people might be talking about, Phygital is physical retail and digital retail, AI, whatever. If you have the adaptability and if you are learning your concepts well, you will be able to adopt. So I wish you the very best for future, and it was a pleasure speaking to all of you. Before I leave, I just want to say something in Hindi, which I would also translate in English, which have stayed with me throughout my career. And this is something which my father, when I was a child, told me. He used to say, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तदबीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से ये पूछे, बता तेरी रज़ा क्या है. That means make your will bloody so strong, so much inside you, ingrained you, that I have to succeed, that there will come a time where even God will ask you, boss, what is that you want in life? Tell me, I'll give it you that. You don't need any further tests in life. So guys, here's to future. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable thoughts. Next, I would like to invite a guest of honor, Srimati Deepa Verma, Director, Central Forensic Laboratory, Government of NCT Delhi, to kindly address the gathering.
Respected Chief Guest Sahab, Chairman Technia, all dignitaries on dais, and all the members who are present here. First of all, I will like to congratulate all of you on 13th International Conference, which has been organized very well, and I could get opportunity to be with you. So my best wishes and congratulations to all of you on this occasion. And now I would like to ask, are you happy on this conference day? आवाज में दम तो नहीं है. Are you happy? थोड़ा सा जोर लगाने की और आवश्यकता. Are you happy? So we should start. ये मेरा यहाँ आप लोगों के साथ आने का पहला अवसर है और मैं भी बहुत हर्ष का अनुभव कर रही हूँ आप लोगों के साथ इस अवसर पर आने के लिए. मुख्य रूप से जो आपका विषय है वो क्वालिटी एनहेंसमेंट से रिलेटेड है, लेकिन इस क्वालिटी एनहेंसमेंट में जो महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका होती है वो अवसर की होती है. जैसे मुझे आपके साथ आ जाने का अवसर मिला और मैं बहुत प्रसन्न हूँ, तो आपको भी जब लाइफ में कोई अवसर मिलता है आप उसे भली प्रकार से उसका आनंद लीजिए, उसे सेलिब्रेट कीजिए और उससे अपनी प्रगति का मार्ग प्रशस्त कीजिए. पहला तो मैं आप लोगों से यही कहना चाहूँगी, क्योंकि किसी समय पर एजुकेशन के लिए मुझे भी एक अवसर मिला और उस अवसर के माध्यम से मैं अपनी यात्रा के पथ पर बढ़ते हुए आज यहाँ पर पहुँची हूँ और एक निदेशक के रूप में मैं एक फॉरेंसिक साइंस लेबोरेटरी की हेड की भूमिका को निभा रही हूँ. मेरे पास इस फील्ड में 30 इयर्स का एक्सपीरियंस है, जिसमें 22 इयर्स अप्रॉक्सीमेट मैंने दिल्ली में स्पेंड किए हैं. और इस लेबोरेटरी की शुरुआत से मैं इसके साथ हूँ, जहाँ पर हम लोग करीब 20-22 लोगों का एक ग्रुप हुआ करता था. इतनी ही सैंक्शन स्ट्रेंथ थी और पिछले 2 वर्षों के प्रयासों के बाद इस समय हम 700 प्लस की स्ट्रेंथ पर यहाँ काम कर रहे हैं. और आप ही की टेक्निया के हम बराबर वाले हिस्से में हमारा भवन है, जहाँ पे विश्व स्तरीय सुविधाओं के साथ हमारी बहुत सारी एग्जामिनेशन फैसिलिटीज़ हैं, जिसमें हम लोग केमिस्ट्री, फॉरेंसिक केमिस्ट्री एग्जामिनेशन, फॉरेंसिक बायोलॉजिकल एग्जामिनेशन, फॉरेंसिक डीएनए एग्जामिनेशन, सीरोलॉजिकल एग्जामिनेशन, बैलिस्टिक एंड फायर आर्म्स, forensic psychology, forensic brain printing, audio, video, and multiple kind of facility which is required for cyber examination, question document, white collar crime, crime scene management, और अभी आप लोगों के सुनने में आ ही रहा होगा कि फॉरेंसिक टीम मौके पर पहुंची, जिस तरह की हिंसाएं पिछले समय दिल्ली में हो रही थी। तो ये सब हम लोगों को जिस स्थिति में हम लोग आज हैं, जो अपने संस्थान को हम यहाँ आज पहुँचा पाए हैं, उसका एक कारण है अवसर और दूसरा कारण है कि उस अवसर के प्रति हमारी लगातार सतत प्रयास, सकारात्मक दृष्टिकोण के साथ। तो जीवन में जब भी आपको अवसर मिले, जैसे कि इस समय आपको एजुकेशन का अवसर मिला, आप अपना समय भी व्यतीत कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि कोई भी कोर्स आप अच्छे नंबर से पास करेंगे या कम नंबरों से आप उसमें सफलता प्राप्त करेंगे, आपको 2 साल तो लगाने ही पड़ेंगे, या कोई कोर्स 1 साल का है तो उसमें 1 साल लगाना ही पड़ेगा। तो क्यों नहीं हम इस मिशन के साथ चलते कि जब हमें काम करना है तो हमें जम के करना है, रिजल्ट देना है तो बेहतर देना है। अवसर की अगर हमें एक स्वीकार्यता दिखानी है तो उसे एक सतत प्रयास के साथ, एक प्लानिंग के साथ, एक कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ और एक जुनून जो होता है उसके साथ दिखानी चाहिए। जैसे कि अभी मिस्टर प्रवल ने कहा कि कुछ प्रेशर्स होते हैं, जब हम परफॉर्मेंस दिखाते हैं तो कुछ प्रेशर्स होते हैं। इसका मैं बहुत छोटा सा उदाहरण आपको देना चाहूँगी कि छोटा सा बीज जब किसी बर्तन में रखा हुआ होता है तो उसके ऊपर कोई प्रेशर नहीं है, वो बिल्कुल स्वतंत्र है। लेकिन जैसे ही उसे मिट्टी में दबाया जाता है तो उसके ऊपर मिट्टी का प्रेशर है, फिर पानी डाला जाता है उसका प्रेशर है, लेकिन उसी प्रेशर का परिणाम होता है कि वो छोटा सा कोपल फूटती है और फिर पल्लवित होकर वो वृक्ष में बदलता है। तो आपके ऊपर भी कभी प्रेशर का अनुभव हो कि हम पढ़ रहे हैं, नौकरी ढूंढनी है, कैरियर छाटना है, ये प्रेशर कहीं ना कहीं अगर आप सकारात्मक दृष्टिकोण के साथ चलेंगे तो कहीं ना कहीं को एक वृक्ष के रूप में आपको परिवर्तित कर देगा। तो सदैव इस जो भी आपके सामने जिस तरह की भी स्थिति होती है उसे स्वाभिमान, संकल्प, ऊर्जा, उत्साह के साथ अगर लेकर आगे बढ़ते हैं तो जीवन में आप निश्चित रूप से सफल होते हैं। और किसी भी एजुकेशन का मतलब ये नहीं होता कि वो आपको 1 साल या 2 साल पूरा होने के बाद कोई सर्टिफिकेट आपके हाथ में पकड़ाएगा। एजुकेशन होती है ओवरऑल पर्सनैलिटी डेवलपमेंट। इसमें आपके सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी आती है कि एज ह्यूमन बीइंग, एज नेशन, एज इंडियन नेशन आपकी क्या सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, उसके प्रति आप कितने समर्पित हैं। ये जिम्मेदारी भी आपकी जो निजी जीवन की जिम्मेदारियां हैं, जो एक भाई बहन, माता पिता किसी भी रोल में हो सकती है, उसे निभाने की भूमिका, उससे निभाने की क्षमता आप में आनी चाहिए। और एज प्रोफेशनल आप अपने वर्किंग प्लेस पे क्या परफॉर्मेंस दे रहे हैं, किस तरह से बेटर आउटपुट दे रहे हैं और किस तरह से उसे आगे ले जा सकते हैं, ये सब की जो काबिलियत है वो आपकी एजुकेशन ही देती है। इसीलिए इसमें कहा जाता है कि क्वालिटी एजुकेशन एनहेंसमेंट एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट। तो ये सब चीज़ों का बहुत महत्व है, बहुत ही महत्व है। और आप अगर इसको ध्यान में रख के एक विजन के साथ चलेंगे तो निश्चित रूप से सफल होंगे। तब कोई भी ऐसी बाधा नहीं है कि आपके स्वाभिमान को शिथिल करे और आप सफल ना हो सके। तो सफलता की मूल पूंजी यही है कि ऊर्जा, उत्साह, उमंग, सहजता, सरलता के साथ अपने कार्य करें और सफल हों। एक समय हमारे जो पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री थे अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी, तो उनके व्यक्तित्व के ऊपर एक पूरे पेज का एक आर्टिकल था, तो उससे मैं पढ़ रही थी, लेकिन उसके पढ़ने के मध्य में उनके प्रति 2 पंक्तियां समर्पित की गई थी और वो मेरे लिए प्रेरणादायक बनी रही हैं और सदैव जीवन में वो प्रेरणादायक बनी ही रहेंगी। उसको मैं आपके साथ शेयर करती हूँ। उनके व्यक्तित्व के विषय में लिखा गया था कि वो कुछ ऐसा व्यक्तित्व अपना कैरी करते थे कि जो चाहे उसे हासिल कर लेते थे और सदैव उनका दृष्टिकोण तो सकारात्मक रहा ही है। तो कहा गया था कि कुछ लोग थे जो वक्त के सांचे में ढल गए, कुछ लोग जिनसे वक्त के सांचे बदल गए। तो अटल बिहारी जी एक ऐसी पर्सनैलिटी थी जो वक्त को भी अपने अनुरूप बदल देती थी। जैसे कि मिस्टर प्रवल ने अभी कहा है कि खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तेरी तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से ये पूछे कि तेरी रजा क्या है। सिमिलरली वही है कि अगर हम चाहें तो वक्त को अपने अनुसार बदल सकते हैं और यही एजुकेशन का ध्येय होता है और यही क्वालिटी एजुकेशन है और इसी के लिए आप सब लोग यहाँ एकत्रित हैं। तो मैं इस अवसर पर आपके शुभ और अच्छे भविष्य की कामना करती हूँ और उम्मीद रखती हूँ कि आप अपने जीवन में कामयाब होकर यहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं और आगे भी कामयाब होते रहेंगे तथा जीवन में अपने कार्यों से स्वर्णिमा बिखेरते रहेंगे और ये ना केवल आपके लिए गौरव का विषय होगा, आपके माता पिता, आपके समाज और आपके राष्ट्र के लिए भी ये गौरव का विषय होगा कि आप उसके एक अनोखा अंग हैं। इस सभी के साथ मैं आप सबको शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving ahead, I would request Dr. Urvashi Sharma, Associate Professor, Management Department, Delhi University, to kindly come on the dais. She has an experience of more than 15 years. She has convened many conferences and has many national and international papers onto her credit. Ma'am, I request you to kindly come on the dais and say a few words, please.
Good morning, all of you. Honorable Chairman Shri R.K. Gupta ji, Director Ajay Kumar Rathore ji, Rajesh Bajaj ji, Deepa Verma ji, Parul Gupta, Praval ji. Really, it's a privilege, matter of privilege to be in Technia, and I really thank Chairman sir to invite me. 2015 was the year where I joined this Technia Institute as a faculty, and now I'm coming. So it's after 15 years, I think 2-3 years I worked here, and as ma'am said, that it's a journey. It's a beautiful journey, and where we have started and where we have to go, I mean, it's really a challenging and it's a ongoing journey. Now we come to the topic. As we all know that the topic today of the conference is quality education, right? What is a quality education? Like most of the speakers have talked about the education, talked about the curriculum, talked about different aspects, domains of their expertise. As I have chosen the quality education related to the curriculum development in the educational institute students. It's very good to speak in front of two teachers because it's 19 years I'm into teaching MBA and BBA students. How many of you want to join some job or want to become entrepreneur? How many students want to join job? Raise your hand. Rest of you want to become entrepreneur? All of you. And so Technia is producing entrepreneurs more than the job seekers. Job providers are more. Chairman sir, that's great. Now when we talk about jobs students, be it you are getting job or you are providing jobs to the people, you should have the skills, all the domains what you are studying in MBA. All of you are MBA students? BBA students? Whatever the domains, like the subjects you are studying, be it a marketing, HR, finance, accounting, if you are the entrepreneur, want to become entrepreneur, you should know all the aspects, be it a HR, to control, to like handle the organization. So you have to be very much particular that what skills, what opportunities, what domains, like, I mean, you have to learn and make it in future done by your employees. See, when we talk about institutions of higher education, it is the destiny of our country, where the destiny of our country is shaped in the educational institutions, right? We are studying quality education is a holistic approach, students, right? All the, like the audience I'm talking about, quality education is not only to take the degree, it is the holistic approach which includes the proper balance of getting knowledge, proper balance of getting degree, proper balance of serving the society, and proper balance to have the sustainable development as a whole well-being, to increase the well-being of our country, right? So when we talk about the overall development, the quality education doesn't restrict to only one domain, that is taking a degree by mugging up the knowledge and just getting your knowledge into papers and get your degree. So whatever you're doing, it has to serve the society so that our country's name is obviously increased. Now, when we talk about, I also teach MBA HR students. My special expertise is in HR, Human Resource Management. I have been 4 years as an MBA coordinator of, HR. In our department, we have MBA HR and MBA IB, International Business. So, why I'm quoting this? That what we teach to the students, the faculty, the students we are teaching as a curriculum, right? We are teaching, we cannot teach beyond. If we are teaching beyond, it is not coming in the exams. So when they are getting out of the college and want to apply, be it a campus placement or they are applying for an interview, appearing in an interview somewhere else, then they have to bridge the gap between what they are knowing and what is the demand of the market, right? When we talk about you are studying only that knowledge which is there in IP university syllabus, some B schools are teaching according to their syllabus, some international universities or those, I mean the MBA and BBA is there, they are teaching according to their syllabus, right? So your knowledge is restricted to the syllabus, what is given to you by your university which you have chosen, right? But when we talk about the market demand, it becomes very tough to match the demand between the what is required by a candidate student when you become the potential candidate to appear in an interview and what the organization is demanding from you. So that job description is keep on changing, right? When we talk about students, it's been more than 2 decades when I passed out, more than 25 years. We used to have the conferences and seminars on changing pedagogies. Now also you see the changing pedagogies, right? But as the generation is moving, we are the baby boomers and you are the generation, next gen or generation Z. So changing paradigm is not restricted. What you are knowing after 5 years or 10 years, that knowledge will be outdated and the new generation will be studying something else, which you will feel that they are knowing much better. Like we know that you generation are much smarter than our generation in the knowledge, in technology, in artificial intelligence, right? So it is like main what I want to say, that bridging the gap between what knowledge you are having and what the market demands to meet that knowledge is very much essential. So the country's curriculum, even I have seen, we have had the revision of syllabus of our department of MBA. University syllabus has been revised this year again after 5 years. So we were into the process and we were seeing IP university syllabus also and B school syllabus also. Most of the B school syllabus is amended each year by the faculty and the jury to update it by matching the market requirements. So one thing very important, students, if it is there in your curriculum or not, please update your knowledge and increase the reading-based journals, newspapers, and try to update yourself. This is my advice to you, that when we talk about quality education, all the stakeholders are responsible to increase the quality education. Be it the government, be it the institution, be it your parents, be it your neighbors, be it anything, like you are responsible to get the quality knowledge, and be it in your syllabus or not, try to update through different sources, right? Read newspapers, read good journals on management, right? And try to update your knowledge that you are not the competitors among yourself. There are n number of institutions which are competing. And I must appreciate Chairman Sir, R.K. Gupta Sir, that really he is providing that base. Now it depends on you. He has given a platform. I think from past 15 years I am saying that he is organizing n number of activities, be it a cultural or a spiritual, right? Cultural, spiritual, academic, educational seminars, conferences. These are not just for the sake of NAC requirements or quality IQAC. It is for giving the platform to the students, faculties, and every stakeholders who can develop himself. Sir cannot, or any faculty cannot give you in hands everything, the knowledge. It is you, how much you are getting out of these 2 years, students. Right? We can give you platform. The institute can give you platform and the degree by the university. So quality of education doesn't depend only on one stakeholder. It is on responsibility of everyone. If we are trying to blame it that government is not doing, or we are not getting some support from anyone, I think we are not perfectly right. So it is our duty to increase the the knowledge, and how to get the knowledge. I think you have to learn, you have to do the takeaways from different events which is there in Technia. Like Director Sir, Ajay Sir said to call you students to the University of Delhi. Definitely I will try my best to call you students. Recently we had the international conference on HR. So definitely in next HR or different domains we are having the lectures, we'll definitely call you. So in numbers 10 or 20, 30, you can come and listen to the views. So try to accumulate, grasp the knowledge from wherever you are getting. All right. Then we talk about tailoring the curriculum. Tailoring the curriculum here means we talk about that when we talk about the academic standard and the need of the student, right? And the quality of education is, like I teach international human resource management, even to IB students, MBA IB. So when you're working even in India in MNCs or you are going outside, you have to deal with different culture people, right? And it doesn't include your degree. I am a teacher of HR and I will be the student of HR whole of my life. So it doesn't depend that you are not including the spirituality. Sir said leadership. Spiritual leadership style is one of the important style these days which has to be adopted. And hope so you are the budding managers, right? So don't think that you will be sitting on one side. So spiritual leadership, resonant leadership, servant leadership, these are the styles which you have to learn to take the students or take the team along with you. All right. So there are a lot of things which we can talk about, but ultimately the quality of education and the employability, when we talk about, we should know how to bridge the gap between two students, right? So when we know that how to bridge the gap, how to get the knowledge, from where we have to get the knowledge, and how to use that knowledge in a practical way in the organization, I think definitely we'll succeed. And when you, like I am coming at my workplace after a long time, when you will be coming as an alumni or to deliver the lecture at your alma mater, right? So you will feel proud, and even Technia will feel proud, our country will feel proud. So be a better citizen, always learn, try to accumulate knowledge and have takeaways from every part, whatever you're doing in this institute or wherever you are. I really wish all the best for this conference, and learn more, increase the quality of education. That's what I want to say. Thank you so much. Thank you, R.K. Gupta sir, and I really sincere thanks to Leena, my friend, old colleague. And I really very happy to see Anand Sharma sir here also. He was also in 2005, we were working together, and we have reached to different places. So it's being very happy to be in Technia after a long time. Thank you so much. Thank you all.